Do you remember the Seinfeld episode where George Costanza gives up sex and suddenly becomes a genius? He's playing chess with champions and winning. He's learning Portuguese, impressing everyone at work with incredible ideas and outcomes. The whole joke was that all that mental energy he was no longer spending on sex was making him smarter. It was a funny episode, but is it true? Does abstinence really work to make you smarter? Today we're covering what the research says about sexual frequency and your mental, emotional, and physical performance, whether the George Costanza theory holds up, and 3 practical takeaways from the research studies you can put to work to reach your peak performance. Let's start with the George Costanza theory. Abstinence equals peak performance. A 2019 study published in the Journal of Gerontology titled Frequent Sexual Activity Predicts Specific Cognitive Abilities in Older Adults found that people who had sex more frequently scored higher on tests of verbal fluency and visuospatial ability, both of which rely on working memory and executive function. The researchers pointed to dopamine as a likely driver. Sex triggers dopamine release, and dopamine is directly tied to sharper focus and executive function. So, George, the science isn't on your side. Now, before we go wild here, let's see what the optimal amount of sex is. A second study, published in Social, Psychological, and Personality Science, titled Sexual Frequency Predicts Greater Well-Being, but More Isn't Always Better, analyzed data from over 30,000 Americans across 4 decades. For people in relationships, well-being climbed as sexual frequency increased up to once a week. After that, no additional benefit. The happiness gains flatlined. The researchers also found the well-being boost from going to once a week versus less than once a month was larger than the difference in well-being between earning $25,000 a year and $75,000 a year. More sex, up to a point, beats a raise. So what does that mean for you? 3 takeaways. 1. Stop optimizing for abstinence. The idea that holding back gives you some kind of mental edge isn't supported by the science. The dopamine, the connection, the emotional stability that comes with an active, intimate life, those things feed your focus and mood, not drain them. 2, once a week is the sweet spot, not the floor. The well-being benefits plateau around once a week. You don't need a performance optimization program here. Consistent connection matters more than frequency chasing. 3, a good relationship makes everything else easier. Calmer mornings, better sleep, lower stress, more emotional bandwidth for the work that actually matters. That's what a connected relationship produces. You can't fully separate your home life from your output. They run on the same battery. George Costanza gave up sex and learned Portuguese. The research says he probably could have done both. Your move.